Welcome to Morning Coffee with Rob. This episode is coming to us finally from summer, which is about time, right? It's been a long time coming, and we are finally into summer months and summer weather, which is pretty fantastic. So now that we are into summer, we should be good to go. And speaking of summer, and kind of where we're hopefully all going to with some nice warmer weather finally, we are looking at being able to get out and do some adventures. So we've aptly named this one Adventure Time because it's about time we finally start getting out and doing a little something this year. At least a little bit more so, especially now that we have nice warm weather to do stuff with. So I know with things kind of the way they are sitting right now for a lot of people, and if this is viewed after everything finally calms down or gets back to a semblance of, I'm not going to say normal, but a semblance of reality for a lot of people, or things start calming down just a little bit as far as things like inflation and just crisis across the world constantly happening, which at this point we've had like decades worth of stuff slammed onto us over the last 2 years, right? So now it's getting to be much, and people are wearing out, and things are wearing thin for a lot of different people, and we just don't want that, right? So it's time for us to start living our lives. But with things kind of the way they are, it does make it a lot more difficult currently for a lot of average people to do things and get out and do a lot of stuff, just because things do cost more now. Like gas in my area is about $2.10 per liter, which is pretty astronomically high. We've never had it quite this high, actually ever had it this high before. So it is definitely quite a ways up there, and it is very frustrating and very difficult to try to pay for. But that also being said, there are things we can do to try to get out and do adventures. We can team up with other people. We could probably randomly find other people that we could do little adventures with, which would be fun as well. We can, friends, family, stuff we can all kind of pool together and do adventures. Another thing is we don't even have to go far for adventures. A lot of us don't even venture out into our backyards, which is just our local areas, to take on little adventures there. And in reality that's a great place to start. Why not take a little adventure on a weekend and just go and explore some local hiking trails, or if you have some floaties, go float down a local river that's not dangerous, because I know high stream flows right at the moment are causing a lot of rapids and a lot of undertows and stuff as well, so you want to try to be safe and careful with that part of it. But with getting out, it doesn't have to be extravagant. Like, media and movies are always showing us nice extravagant ways of getting out and doing things. But that's for people who have the means to do so. As families that are mid to lower mid working class folks, that's not always the case. We're just getting out and doing what I call as micro adventures, which is what I like to do with my kids, is just going out and doing something kind of small on a weekend, like on a Saturday or a Sunday, and we just go out and we have little micro adventures. Like, we go out and sometimes we go geocaching, which we dub as pirate treasure hunting, because sometimes we come across some really sweet little geocaches that have things we can exchange out. Sometimes we just find the geocache where we can write our names onto it. Sometimes we strike out and we don't find it. So it's kind of a lot of fun. We drive out to an area and we kind of see if there's a few different ones in that area, and we just walk or hike around and try and see if we can find them. It's quite a bit of fun, because we have to walk around, so we're getting exercise, we're looking for something specific, and we're just trying to see if we can locate it. So we're trying to use deduction for some of the hints that are provided in the apps, and try to see if we can find things with the coordinates, and just hunt around high and low and just have everyone looking and hunting and seeing what we can find. Other times we just take an adventure down to the beach where we just hang out and sit in the sun and eat snacks and play in the water. Like, it's not much of an adventure, but you can make it an adventure. Like, you can treasure hunt along the beach and find different things. Right now we don't have much of a beach left because high water, but we have enough of a beach where we can still go and hang out. You can go meet different people, do different things. Meeting people on its own is a bit of an adventure some days. So why not go out and meet people and have some fun? Other things we could really do, because obviously a lot of us have been cooped up for 2 years now for the most part, and it's time for us to start really trying to get out and do more and live our lives. And one of the things that I've always found as a weird saying is live within your means. And I get what the saying is all about. It's basically saying don't spend the money you don't have, which makes 100% sense. Like, I'm never going to say that doesn't make sense. But what I think the saying should probably be is spend within your means, but live outside of your means, or maybe capabilities. So in that kind of case, if you have a small budget, definitely keep within your budget, because there are definitely some free things you can do, or inexpensive things you can do for adventures. As an example, one of my plans for this summer is I'm going to take an adventure, probably a solo adventure at the end of August. I was going to do it this week that I have off right now, but it's a little too much to try to get done right at the moment. So I decided to postpone it to my last week of August for the time that I have off. And what's going to happen for that is I'm going to try to load up some things and get stuff put together so I can take a bike trip along part of the Great Canadian Trail or the Trans-Canada Trail. What I want to do is I want to ride from Summerland all the way to Grand Forks and back. So I need to get things together for that, and it's relatively inexpensive except for one piece of equipment which I haven't decided if I completely need. It would just be kind of handy, especially times when I get out of cell range, which does sometimes frequently happen. But I need like a 2-person tent, which is fairly inexpensive. I need to get like a solar charger, which is fairly inexpensive. I found all these things on Amazon, which is great. And I am able to find a few other things as well. I'm just trying to find things that I can actually have where I can have like perishable things that I can easily take with me that aren't going to die and get disgusting as I'm going along on my trip, because it's going to take like 3-4 days probably to get there and back. So I'm looking at trying to put things together for that so I can take this trip. Like, all I need to do is be able to get a ride down to, say, Summerland, and then I can hop on my bike, which I already have, load up the bike trailer, which I already have. So I'm taking things that I've already got available to me and going to be using it for my adventure on my bike, because that's something I really, really want to do. And I'm trying to do it in a least expensive manner as possible so I can show people how it can be done and kind of do it on a bit of a budget. I'm also looking to see if I can find things at thrift stores or garage sales where it's already reduced down because it's been used and that's in good condition. And if there's anything wrong, I can just repair it and do what I need to make it work for what I need it to. I don't know if any of this really makes sense, but it's something that's going to be fun and exciting. Everyone needs to get out on an adventure. Everyone needs to be able to live life in some kind of fashion. We work so hard all of our lives. Like, why not take the time that we do have and have some fun with it? Have a small adventure of some kind. If we do it properly, it's not going to break our banks. It's not going to be detrimental to our lives and living. If we do it properly, we can actually have great, fun adventures and still be able to afford to live. Is kind of where I'm going with that. I say that's exactly where I'm going with that, is we can have fun adventures, spending within our means, but living a fun life. Just, like I said, take micro adventures. They don't take a lot. You probably have walking trails or hiking trails somewhere probably near you. And even then, just you don't even have to go out that far. Maybe even just take a different walking path than what you normally do with your dog or with friends. It's like, hey, let's try this path instead, or walk it backwards even. Like, just little things sometimes make life a little more adventurous. You don't have to go on big, crazy road trips. You don't have to fly to Mexico. You don't have to fly all the way across the world for adventures. You can literally do them right out your back door pretty much. One other fun one that you could probably do is if you are a bit more of a hiker and you want to try and push yourself a little bit more, because you've done a few hour hikes during the day, but you want to try something bigger, grab your backpack, maybe see if a friend has like an overnight style bigger backpack, and try and find like a little tent. Maybe go out on a longer trail that's going to require you to camp out overnight. Just make sure people know where you're going to be or which trail you're going to be on, and kind of the itinerary of where you're going to end up and then coming back, or if you need someone to meet you on the other end. For my bike trip, I've already got people that I've told that I'm going to be doing this, kind of the rough idea where I'm going to be starting and where I'm going to end and where I'm going to be coming back, and the kind of the rough time frame that I plan on all being in. They've already said, like, if I need help or if I need to get picked up, just let them know and they'll come and get me. I have to probably pay for gas, which is totally fair. I mean, they're going to be driving from the Shuswap Thompson area or Okanagan and driving down to save my butt if I can't get to my destination or back from my destination. So I'm trying to make it like a fun adventure, but also at the same time where my adventure is also something that is going to be safe and it's going to be economical, because I like to do things that aren't overly lavish or expensive typically, because I'm not really that kind of guy for the most part. I like having fun, and if I can do it in a way that is exciting, like I'm excited for this trip, so I'm looking forward to having this, being able to tent out on the trail and just off the trail and just kind of hanging out and kind of surviving on my own in some kind of ways, and being able to get to my destination and back again all on my bike, because I really like biking, so I think this will be a really fun thing to do. And I've ridden small sections of the trail around the Kelowna area, and it's not difficult overly. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that, you know, people should try to look at doing, is little things like that. It's like, if you want to have a fun life, start living a fun life. Like, I know it's probably a little bit more expensive in some areas, but you could rent things like paddle boards for the day or bike rentals for the day and just get out and ride. Or, you know, rubber, as far as I can remember, rubber dinghies aren't super expensive either. So if you wanted to go and have some kind of fun on the water with an adventure, you could load up a rubber dinghy and paddle out along the shoreline until you find something fun. You could, instead of driving somewhere, walk somewhere. Everything's technically in walking distance. It's just a matter of whether you want to walk that far or not. So, I mean, really, if you live at the northern tip of Alaska, you could walk down to the northern tip of, is it Chile? It's just a really long walk. A really, really long walk. Even having to get across the Panama Canal, you could still do it. It's just going to take a really long time, and most people don't want to walk that far, and I don't blame them. That's a really, really far walk, and probably really dangerous too, because you're going through a lot of elements. You're going through like a whole host of countries to get down there, and you never know what you're going to pop into, and you can't prepare for everything. Another really good one that I was watching, what was it? The Race of the Great Divide. Or The Great Divide. It was a documentary about these mountain bikers who started off in Banff, and it's the world's longest solo bike race. So they have to prep for the whole thing. They have to have like drop spots. They have to plan out. They have to have money with them, phones, whatever they may need. And then they plot out the course. It's pretty well routed out for them. They start in Banff, and they work their way through all the way down to Mexico, to the border in Mexico, between the U.S. and Mexico. And it's a long, long ride. Like, I think it said it's supposed to take about 30 days, so an entire month to get from Banff down to Mexico via bike. And people were biking along. They were camping on the side of the road. They had like lightweight bikes. They had all their stuff strapped to their bikes. None of them had like trailers or things. They had really nice light bikes, and they had all the gear that they needed. And then they had drop points, where they had stuff sitting and waiting for them. So they needed new tubes or new tires or whatever they would have, or food supplies as well. They'd have them at different drop points for different post offices and hotels and things like that where they would potentially be staying. It was really cool, and that's kind of what it's fully what sparked this whole idea. And I watched it quite a few years ago, and I was like, oh, I should totally do that. But at the same time, that's very, very daunting because I've never done anything where it's a long trip like that. The longest bike trip I've done is about 36 kilometers round trip. So the one I'm looking at doing, I think it's about 580 round trip. So it's going to be a whole heck of a lot longer, but I think I can do it within a week, like four days. I think I can do it in 4 days. We will see, though, because I could totally 100% be wrong, and I might need someone to come and save me on like day 2, maybe even day 1. I don't know, but I'm trying to get a little bit more physical shape, so I'm trying to ride my exercise bike more. I'm trying to exercise a bit more to try and get ready for this. I'm going to be hopping out on my bike a lot more and just riding around. Going to take my bike into town and then bike back from town, and then I'm going to start trying to bike into town a little bit more as well. And just try to really get prepared for it. Like for a bigger adventure like that, there's obviously some preparation work that needs to go into it. But if you're just looking for small little adventures, you don't really need a lot of prep work. You just need to make sure you have water and snacks, and maybe bring like a light jacket and a hat. But ultimately, like just taking some small micro adventures around your area is a great way to start. Just get out and find something fun to do. It's time. And do it in a way that's spending within your means so you can live a fun life. You don't have to have a lot of money to have fun and have adventure. You just need to find a spot where you can start to have an adventure. Waking up in the morning and just be like, okay, today is the day we're going to have some adventure. It's bringing balance back to your life ultimately. So with that, once you find what you're wanting to do for an adventure, plan for it. Like, your life can't revolve around work the entire time. You need to revolve it around having fun and having an adventure and doing something that you're going to enjoy. Yes, a great trip to Greece would be a lot more enjoyable for a lot of people. However, just getting out and doing something fun, like taking a couple-day excursion into the wilderness on a well-used trail with a backpack, like that would be some fun. Taking a day out and just going geocaching or pirate treasure hunting would be fun. Taking a day and going up to a lake that a lot of people don't get to. Like a couple years ago, a friend of mine, her and I went up to a place called Johnson Lake. Not a lot of people go up there because there's not a lot of camping spots, and it's a very quiet, serene lake. It's crystal clear. It's actually turquoise around the bank edges, and it's beautiful. Cold, but beautiful. And that was like an adventure because we didn't know how to get up there. Once we got up there, we had no cell service, and I didn't have a GPS. So getting back down was was a little bizarre, trying to get back down. But it was fun. We had a great adventure, and it was something that was easy to do. Didn't cost us a lot of money. We just had to make sure we had snacks and actual water to drink. And we were set. We had a great time. It was so much fun. And this is what I'm asking you to do, is find something like that that's fun to do. Something that isn't extravagantly expensive, and something that's just really fun to just get out and do something fun. Like this weekend here in the interior of British Columbia is sunny and hot, so the kids and I, we're going to be outside a lot doing things. Most likely a lot of it will be the beach, but we're going to go out and try and get some hikes and do a few other little things as well, because why not? We might as well. We're out there doing stuff now, so we might as well be enjoying it as best we can, and might as well have some kind of little micro adventure. Because let me tell you, it is definitely adventure time. All right. I hope you had fun with me this morning. Thank you for sitting with me as I worked through all of my technical issues. Because like I said, we're trying something a little bit newer today, so it hopefully will work, and we'll keep testing it out. If you want, you can continue the conversation with me over on Twitter. You can find me at El Dorabo, ELDORABO. ELDEROBBO. If you want to see what my micro adventures kind of look like and get some other cool things, you can go to Instagram and follow me at Eldorobbo. That's ELDEROBBO. If you'd like to join our fun community, you can go over to Discord and it can get you a link to the Abundance Brotherhood, where you get positivity and just links to different things as well that come up for the site. If you'd like to read some of my blogs and see more of what I'm up to, you can go to rob-hicks.com. If you'd like to support the efforts, you can go to Patreon and look for Eldorobbo, ELDEROBBO. So it's patreon.com/Eldorobbo. Or if you'd like, you can get some cool merch over on my shop. It's rob-hicks.com/shop, and you can get some cool hats, toques, and other paraphernalia from there. So I'd like to thank you all very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you some more. And like I said, I'm going to hopefully have more coming live streams to my website. All right, everyone, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. And remember, ride hard and live long.